Hello and welcome. I am Dr. Emmanuel Toye Shubande, a strategic leadership expert, executive coach, and award-winning author. You're watching The Leadership Factory. The Leadership Factory is a space where we explore practical, research-driven insights that help leaders think clearly, lead wisely, and build healthier organizations. Today, we are diving into a powerful leadership reality many people don't talk about: the leadership trap no one wants you about. Yes, the leadership trap no one wants you about. Now, let me share an imagery of what this trap looks like. It stems from an inspirational applause. The applause came at the wrong time. It was late. The kind of late where the office is quiet, but one conference room is still lit. Inside is a team that sat down around the table, tense, stuck, settling a problem that I refused to yield all day. And then the leader walked in. He listened for a few minutes, asked a couple of sharp questions, then almost effortlessly, he connected the dots. Clarity cut through the confusion. A decision was made. Direction was restored. And more importantly, just like that, the room exhaled in relief. Someone smiled, another nodded in acknowledgement, and then came the applause. The applause that was loud, silently loud, but knowing, respectful, and more importantly again, grateful. Grateful to who? To the leader. Because once again, the leader has stepped in and saved the day. But you see, something quietly was breaking. Not in performance, not in results, not even in morale, at least not yet. What was breaking was capacity. Because every time the leader stepped in to solve problems, the team stepped back from thinking. The team stepped back from thinking. And this is the leadership trap no one wants you about. The more effective you become as a leader, the more your organization begins to depend on you. They depend on you in ways that slowly undermine the ability to function without you. What looks like strength in the short term becomes structural weakness in the long term. Following last week's focus on the conversations leaders cannot ignore, this week we will confront a deeper and more uncomfortable truth. Many leaders are not building organizations, they are building dependence. I say that again. Many leaders are not building organizations, they are building dependence. The myth of modern leadership is that great leaders are indispensable, that the more critical you are to every decision, every problem, and every outcome, the more valuable you must be. But this belief is not only flawed, it is dangerous. A dangerous belief because the true measure of leadership is not how often you are needed. It is how often you are not. Organizations do not scale through heroic leadership. They scale through distributed thinking. But many leaders unintentionally create the opposite. They become the central node for all decisions. Every question flows upward to the leader. Every uncertainty seeks the leader's input. Every challenge waits for the leader's intervention. And while this may feel like control, it is actually congestion. Congestion. The hidden cost is not immediate failure. The hidden cost is delayed growth. Teams stop stretching. Initiative declines. Risk taking becomes cautious. Not because people lack capabilities, but because they have learned that the leader will eventually step in. Over time, this creates a culture where people perform tasks but do not own the outcome of the task. The sense of ownership is missing, and the leader ironically becomes overwhelmed by the very dependence they themselves created unknowingly. And this is where the shift must occur. Leadership is not about increasing your involvement, it is about increasing other people's ownership. It is about increasing the ownership of your team members. But this requires a fundamental change in how leaders respond to problems. Most leaders are conditioned to solve problems. It is what earned them their position. It is what earned them the respect, the ability to see clearly, decide quickly, and act decisively. You see, but at higher levels, this instinct must be restrained, because every time a leader provides the answer, provides the solution to a problem, they remove the opportunity for someone else to develop that ability to solve problems. Now, let's be clear. This is not about withholding support from your team members. Let me put a balance to that. No. It is about redefining how you support your team members. Support is not giving solutions. Support is creating the conditions where better solutions can emerge. Now, let's consider the subtle but powerful shift from answering to asking. Instead of resolving the issue, the leader redirects the issue by saying something like this: what do you think is the best approach? This becomes more valuable than saying, here is what we should do. This is not a delay tactics. No, that's not what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting a developmental strategy. I'm recommending a developmental strategy. At first, this may feel insufficient or inefficient because it takes longer. The answers are not as polished. The process is less controlled. But you see, if you are patient enough, over time, something remarkable begins to happen to your team members. The quality of their thinking improves. Their confidence increases. Their sense of ownership deepens. And you, as the leader, you are no longer the bottleneck of progress. This is where many leaders struggle. They equate speed with effectiveness. They believe that solving problems quickly is always better than developing it slowly. But this is a short-term mindset. A short-term mindset applied to a long-term challenge, because the goal of leadership is not to optimize today's decisions. It is to elevate tomorrow's decision makers. There is also a deeper psychological dynamic at play. You see, many leaders derive their identity from being needed. It reinforces their value. It validates their expertise. It creates a sense of control. Yes. However, letting go, therefore, is not just a strategic shift. It's a personal one for the leader. It requires the leader to find confidence, not in being the answer, but in building those who can answer. Yes. For organizational leaders, this raises a critical question. Are your systems designed to distribute thinking or to centralize it? Do your structures encourage initiative or reinforces escalation? These are not operational details. They are leadership decisions that shape the future capacity of your organization. For business leaders, the challenge is more immediate. You must observe where you are over-functioning. Where are you stepping into too quickly? Where are you solving problems that your team is capable of solving? These are not signs of strength. They are signals of misaligned leadership. For workplace professionals, this is an invitation. An invitation that requires you not to wait to be told what to do. Step forward with solutions, not just problems. Leadership is practiced long before it is assigned. So, pause and reflect. Where in your leadership are you being needed too often? What decisions cannot move without your involvement? What will break if you stepped back? And what might grow if you step back? These are not easy questions, but they are necessary questions. They are necessary not only for you, but for the growth of your team. Because the future of leadership does not belong to those who can do the most. It belongs to those who can build the most capacity in others. Here is your challenge for this week. I love to give out challenges anytime I speak to you. So, next time a problem is brought to you, resist the instinct to solve it. Rather, ask one question instead. A question, just one question. And then listen to the response from your team members. Allow the silence from them. Allow the thinking. Allow the discomfort. Because in that moment, you are not delaying progress. You are developing it. And that is the difference between a leader who is needed and a leader who multiplies. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Remember, leadership is not just about making decisions. It is about creating an environment where truth can be heard, trust can grow, and people can thrive. If this conversation resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your reflections. You can connect with me at contactme@toyeshobande.com. And stay tuned. Stay tuned because in our next episode, we will continue exploring the deeper human realities that shape leadership effectiveness. Until then, keep leading with clarity, courage, and wisdom. Thank you. Bye-bye. And God bless.